Hello, welcome to my channel. Good morning. Let us talk about this morning about benefit. Even if you're in the UK, let us talk about benefit with reference to the cost of living, with reference to poverty. Let us try and talk about um, the kind of help based on government policy being provided to the people of this country. If you don't live in the UK, then try to find out what your government is providing and let me know what your government is doing to help with the problem you face with poverty. We're going to talk about the kind of help which can be given benefit in the UK, mostly money, but also can be help in kind. Please let me know what your government is doing. Maybe in Africa, perhaps things like pension. Most people know about pension. So, pension is a type of benefit. So, if it helps you to make sense, in most developed countries, there is something called benefit, part of the welfare state. It's called welfare benefit. Actually, it's welfare support given to people who need help, people who are poor, people who cannot access uh, maybe food, shelter, and water, the basics. So I'm going to just talk about because I'm looking at the government website. They're talking about care and support. This is just a random picking because in the previous video I've been talking about broadly the cost of living because the thing about the cost of living, everybody is speaking about it. That's why I want us to speak about it. That's why I've been talking about it as well. Everyone is talking about it. It's topical, and I believe when we talk about something, we also start the process of solving the problem. It's not like we want to talk about problem all the time, but um, when we talk about something, it's a process of solving problems. And as human beings, we we can think one way or the other. What I'm trying to do here is actually to get people to start thinking in a certain way. Um, if there's a situation, if there's a problem to solve, it doesn't matter what problem it is. Think about it, talk about it, and start the process of solving the problem. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's why I'm trying to talk about benefit, uh, explaining the material I'm looking at. The title above is saying explaining care and support. Um, when you talk about care and support, it means care and support. That's it. Um, but because this is from the government website, UK government, and this support is actually there in England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. And this kind of information can also help if you are in Europe, because Britain is part of Europe, and its policy and legal relationship between European countries, especially in the developed world, and the USA. Think of any developed country. Think of the Western countries. Think of maybe the Eastern countries countries like Russia, China. I don't know what kind of benefit they give in China or Russia, but if you know, leave a comment below. And if you have links, um, try to give the information. If you want us to talk about other countries, please let us know. And I've been looking at this channel, and look at this channel is new. It's not really new, but because I started this channel in 2012, but I haven't been doing anything on it until last week. I started doing video last week, so it's a work in progress. But I want people to talk about anything they want to talk about. And when I say speaking, actually speaking deals with communications. You can talk, verbally. That is a form of, it's actually talking. You talk with your mouth, and sometimes you talk with your face, you talk with your body language. Sometimes, even if you're singing, actually, you're trying to talk. You can talk with music, with dancing, singing. That is talking. So it's a broad concept. People have the right to speak. Freedom of speech is what we're trying to promote here. Because if people speak, people actually identify problems and they can solve it. And speaking is also medicinal. It heals. It heals emotionally. So every time I do a video, I'm going to set a background to to provide a video on what I'm actually intending to do. But the reason I'm talking about benefit because of the cost of living situation, but also because benefit is a major source of income in the UK and in Europe. It's really big because of the nature of society, because of the nature of the economy. This has developed over the years into policy, into law, and also into administrative infrastructure. So in the UK, it's a really, really big deal. Things like tax credit, working tax credit, for example. If you work, sometimes the people, when we talk about benefits, people think of people who do not work. But as a matter of fact, if you have, if you're poor, you can be in benefit at any time. But it doesn't mean every poor people, according to my definition of poverty, it doesn't mean every poor people actually get benefit, because if you get about £2,000 in total, you don't get benefit at all. But if you have savings of say £16,000 and below, you can get benefit. If I have to say, the key element of benefit actually is universal credit. Something called universal credit. Don't worry about what it is called, but just know it is the kind of money given for free. It's free money given to people who need it. How the government define needs is another matter. It's for everyone to decide for themselves, because to me the definition of need is really problematic, because within the local authorities, within the central government, most benefits are actually linked from the central government to the local government, because most people live locally within the local council. Local councils actually are responsible for implementing this. The organization which are statutory government-based organization, which are actually directly part of the public infrastructure. But there are others which are actually charities. They all do the same thing, and there are similar programs. Charities are actually organizations. They are more like private companies, but they are they are complementary to public and private sector. So they're in between. A third sector is in between public and private sectors. Now, the thing about charity or third sector or voluntary sector, they get money from the government to provide public service. Um, and that is the background. Every time I do video on welfare, which is what I will be doing in the foreseeable future. It doesn't mean not going to do other things, but I will be doing other things as well. Especially if viewers or people who are supporting this channel are interested in one thing or another, then we'll see what we can do. But in you know within the next 3 or 4 weeks or perhaps more, I'll be mainly speaking about benefits. Um, I've been struggling with the equipment. It's a new project, but I'm getting feedback and ideas and advice. So over the next 2 to 3 months of producing this video, I believe things will improve with this channeling. Um, so let us go back to benefit specific, because the thing about the benefit within a policy and law is quite specific. It's really, really, really specific. So the government website page I'm looking at, it's talk about care and support. Mm, care in the ordinary, if I say parlance, in the ordinary understanding, relate to relate to anything, but this is with a bit of irony actually. It relates specifically to children, caring for children, childcare. But I still, the text, the material still talks about text. If you're in the UK or anywhere in the world, if you want to see this, because it's public website, it's free. You don't need to subscribe or anything. It's free. You can type gov.uk, www.gov.uk/government and whatever, and so etc. etc. And if you do that, as soon as you watch this video, you are going to actually access it. It's very useful. Even if you are in Africa, I don't know the situation of welfare state in Africa, but don't worry about that. Look at the information. Watch this video, and whatever happens to you in Africa, or whatever doesn't happen, maybe in America, South America, Brazil, Argentina, wherever, whatever happens there or doesn't happen, just don't worry about it, because you see, government system is quite similar. If your government in Africa is not giving help in the same way as maybe help is being given in the UK, if that is not happening, then I will say, you can speak to your MP, because if we say there's democracy in Uganda, in Nigeria, in Ghana, if we say there's democracy, I mean they elect MPs, members of parliament. These are actually political representatives whose function is actually to hold the government to account. They have to really put pressure on the government to do things for the people. And if they're not doing that, if they're not giving, the government doesn't give help in Africa or in maybe South America, regions which are actually developing less than the developed world. If the kind of help, the social welfare is not happening there, then I think within the freedom of speech and probably also of association, if you are allowed to mobilize, but if you're not allowed, please get permission from the local authorities or from the police. I don't want people to start gathering, associating when the government restricts that kind of activity. I don't want the police, the tear gas to start, creating problem to people. So that's why personally, I normally don't like demonstration. When people demonstrate, I just tell them, no, don't participate, because especially if you are in a less democratic world, well, as it is, I struggle to define democracy all the times. I struggle to define democracy, but democracy is what it is. The more tolerant a government is, the more democratic it is. If you can really demonstrate, you can maybe also. Some people really misbehave. Like, I don't know. I don't want to mention any specific group, but different people really do different things. when they're demonstrating. Some people damage properties. Actually, sometimes people get killed. I don't see that to be the right thing to do. But people do it. People struggle with determining what is right. People really always struggle with what is wrong or right. But you must say, participation is really good. The more you participate, the more you talk. Like we are doing this video for that purpose. Actually, what drives me to do this video is really the concept is actually let us engage, let us be active, and to me, speaking is really important. And I've already tried to show what you can do to speak, what you can really do to speak. Speaking doesn't mean you should use words. It shouldn't be verbal only. We understand when I say I'm speaking to you. People think of using verbal communication, but like I said at some point in this video, sometimes you don't even say anything. You just keep quiet, like that. You don't say anything, and when you do that, you are actually speaking. You see, sometimes you just stand up or sit down. You are actually involved. You're speaking. That's what free speech is. Some people just stand or sit down or just you go and cook in the kitchen. Your action speaks for you. Your action. So sometimes if you smile, if you cry, you are actually sending information. You are sending messages. That is your. See, you're talking. You see, that's why there's a saying, say, actions speak louder than word. Because if you use word, which is what comes from your mouth and from the sound of your voice, that is speaking. So there is a proverb, I think it's a wise saying or a proverb, whatever. Action speaks louder than word. So I want us to be clear about this concept of speech, of speaking. Some people actually draw pictures. They are artists. Their arts speak for them. And it's the object of artistry, the painting, speak for itself. And if you come to my room now, let me beat the TV. That's the TV. That's the window. This picture, I don't really have to talk. You can see that's the computer. That's the place of the living room. It's and tidy. And it gives you an idea where I live. You see? So this picture speaking. I own this language. I own this action. So you see, it is my right. It actually demonstrates my right. Every time I own an object, if it is an object of speaking, it is my human right. I'm exercising it. That's why this channel is important, because that is what it promotes. Promote freedom of speech. It promotes freedom of speech. You can just like show a remote without talking, like that. You're speaking. You're speaking. So this is what we're trying to do here. It may sound unfamiliar. It may sound maybe strange, but I want us to adjust the way we think. The common we need to really, because sometimes we assume that we put things in a box until we begin to think about concepts and ideas. So the argument remains that this channel is to promote free speech. So next time you see me, maybe on the street, maybe on an airplane or on a train, or actually in a kitchen or somewhere else, or just in front of my home, you may not hear my voice. I may not speak verbally. See, And I may not use words. But there may be silence. You may only see pictures. So speaking is so important because it's, in my opinion, the beginning of solving a problem. And sometimes there are problems to do with entertainment, and a problem to do with relationships, friendship. You break up with your friends, or you want to improve the way you live with your friend, family. You want to get a family. See, all these actually challenges. It poses situation. So, this is the kind of thing this channel is trying to awaken, so that we know that we are in charge. It's empowerment. I read somewhere today about the messaging of the government about benefit. And the government says, was I trying to explain the idea of care, and they were talking about things to do with reforms and the kind of reforms they're trying to do. Generally speaking, the kind of reform the government is trying to do. There's guidance on this page here. There's a guidance, government guidance. It says care and support. What is changing? And then if you go below down, because we're just looking at the website, it says explaining care and support. And so it says somewhere else, not here, but it says that the change actually, because I know from information that what the government was trying to say was that care is going to be patient-centered. This is a concept going around the public sector. It's going to be client, sometimes it's called client-centered. We provide service, it's going to be customer-centered. You go to supermarket, you go to buy something in the market. In terms of customer service, what the trader is trying to do is trying to satisfy your need. It's trying to satisfy your need. The customer, the vendor, the seller is trying to meet expectations, the customer expectation. This is actually the art of customer service. But this is a commercial concept, which is actually consistent with the global political economy, if there is anything like that. Globalization is happening everywhere, which it simply means, it actually, in economic terms, it means marketization of the economy. And so we now see the recipient of service as customers. And this is the changes the government is trying to explain. The reason I try to explain it the way I explain is that if you go online and read what the government is writing, there are actually those who are experts in drafting policies. They talk in a certain way, which is really very helpful. It's helpful because it actually guides people gently into the points, the critical points. But that also means it takes a long time to try and understand exactly what the government is saying. Because the government have a lot of responsibility. It has a lot of responsibility to the country. It has to really look after so many factors. Look at so many factors, different factors. Look after so many interests. And how the government speak to people has to be really organized. They have to speak in a really structured way, and they have to design a framework of speaking. And so when you hear, for example, a minister speaking, even if they are trying to say something which is really going to be really hard on the common people, Because if they bring changes, sometimes whenever they've tried to bring changes, sometimes this is it really impacts on the ordinary people negatively, because policy is dictated by necessity in terms of the government functioning. So when they talk to people, the way they talk to people is to calm things down. If you need something, they know something is going to be really hard. They will speak to you in a way to really calm things down. It's a really fantastic skill to have, and in my opinion, everybody should learn that skill. I mean, somebody dies, and it's going to shock people. How are you going to tell, a loved one that somebody has died? I don't know, because that is going to bring. It's a very difficult news to break. So it's like they say, it's a bitter pill to swallow. It's something really nasty, something not nice. So sometimes when the government bring changes, such as shown in this page about care and support, the changes they made, I think in 2015, the changes they made, they try to explain it. They try to explain care and support in a really very nice way. And the most impressive aspect, like I said, for me, is actually care is going to be patient centered. That means they're going to give control back to the care the person cared for. I mean, if also if you're a carer, sometimes if you're a carer and you are the government customer, you're the government customer in the sense that you are providing care, and because the government is the one paying for it, the government pay you, and you pay a carer, because this carer has to be registered, a registered carer. That's government policy. You can bring somebody else. There may be other policies where people might be paid, even if they are your family or close friends. But I mean, maybe that used to be, but I have to look for that information specifically, whether if you have a husband caring for your child, if the government can pay money to your husband for looking after your child, or if you're looking for after your child, the government is paying you to look after your child. I don't think that happens, but it's not good thinking, because 90% the government doesn't. But supposing I'm wrong, that's the thing to do with the law, because I'm not sure that happens. But I have to double check normally, because I'm not talking about specific. I'm just talking generally to introduce the topic of government support. Generally, because it's so big, I tell you, the support is an industry in its own right. It's one of the biggest aspects of public spending. Because when I talk of welfare state, include welfare benefit, and when I talk about welfare benefit alone, the government keeps changing. The way the benefit system operates, inconsistent with government agenda and the politics, the global politics. It affects Britain, it affects America, Europe. So things will be changing all the time, and every time things changes, it produces a crisis. So it's very, very correct to argue that every time you hear of a crisis, because government is changing the way they do things. Sometimes changes are brought by technology, changing of the industry, the job market being changed, machines are doing more work. So I'm just trying to capture all this as a format to actually draw a map, because this is a new project about because All these are actually intended to capture the cost of living issue, which we are experiencing now. But I want to look at it at a as broad as I can, so that people who watch this video or who actually don't, maybe some people will watch it later, but those who are not watching it regularly, people who have subscribed, and if you haven't subscribed, you subscribe so that um uh, and ring notification bell so that you don't miss a video. Um, so this is what I'm trying to do. I'm going to set how to see, to paint a background, and I'm just using care and support. It's a very tiny aspect of benefit being provided, because the welfare state could benefit include things like the healthcare, housing. Um, you will be correct to say that every public sector and every public service rather, or involving public funding, is actually part of the welfare state. Because if you look at transport, even if it is mostly privatized, it's actually private companies running public transport in the UK. They use public money to do that. And it's actually in the hospital, schools, there are a lot of private companies running the hospital, school, but funded by the government. They're part of the welfare state. And employment also, if it is subsidized by the government, if the government still regulates it in favor to support, if employment is regulated to support employees and small and medium business, people who need help, but funded or supported by the public, that form directly or indirectly part of the welfare state. So you can see now the concept in terms of the economy, how big it is. And I'm only talking about that one element of benefit, not even welfare state, welfare benefit. And if you want to talk about welfare benefit, the first thing to think about is something called universal credit. Universal credit is the biggest single change made recently within the welfare system. And if you're not going to talk about anything to do with benefit in the UK, then talk about universal credit, because it covers so many different things. The second thing you need to talk about is actually tax credit. Tax credit refers to people who work and claim benefit. Tax credit is made up of working tax credit and child tax credit. So these are actually policies. They're very primary in terms of their structure. It is correct to say that going forward, in the years to come, from now on, all the benefit is going to be universal credit. And all the benefit is going to be means tested, which means that if you're on low income, then you will get it. Right now, things like pension, state pension, for example, but other work pension, which is statutory, really, it's a statutory payment. We're talking about benefit. It's a statutory payment. Work pension, from what the pension element you get from your employer. And also in the UK, if you don't get full state pension, including work pension, then you get something called pension credit. Pension credit. This is something called the guarantee element of the pension credit. But yeah, that's the main one, the main chunk of pension credit at the moment, and that is for pension. And there are other aspects of benefit, like to pay for even your pensioner, for example, the benefit to pay for rent, to pay rent. If you're renting a property, you pay a bill, you pay rent, and so that actually is the kind of benefit you pay as a pensioner. So how old you are determine what happens to you in terms of benefit. retirements and all that thing. In terms of state pension, you can actually, as soon as you reach a retirement age, you start getting state pension. But you can get state pension and work if you want. You can. It's not mean state. State pension not mean state. Even if you have money, normally mean state benefit. If you have 16,000, you don't get benefit. I mean, if you have more 16 and above, 16,000 and above, you don't get benefit at all. If it is mean state means that you have the means to live, to access, livelihood. You have the means, and the government's estimate is that with their policies that if you have 16,000 pounds and above, you have the means to access necessary livelihood. Like your need is being met, even if your basic needs, financial need, is being met. Not just financial, but welfare needs is being met in terms of help, or in terms of or money, mainly money and resources. Let's say that is being met without the government intervening. So the 16,000 is essential. If you don't work, if you work, what you earn regularly will determine whether you get benefit or not. So these are some details, hopefully, I will be speaking about with reference to specific benefit. And the aim for explaining these things is that there are people in this country, in the UK, who may be entitled to benefit, but actually, because they don't know about it, the government is not going to, put it on the television and say, oh, la 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 la, or write a letter to you, say, if you think you need benefit, come and claim it. They already given a website, which is good, but some people don't have access to internet, so that is a limitation. But there are other, I don't even know how people know the benefit like this. I don't know how they know it, because I don't know what else the government, they publish it. They publicize it in libraries, but how will ordinary people know, even, especially if they are working? Normally they know it through words of mouth, but that's what I'm trying to say. They are very useful support, but it's very challenging. People need to know about it, and if you have problem with this kind of help, because sometimes if you need it, especially if you are renting a property, if you don't get benefit, you can be homeless. And the welfare component of support include public housing, because the council give housing to people in this country. They give you, I would say, they give you house for free to live in, to rent. It's a rented accommodation, but the rate of renting is lower, significantly, far significantly lower than the market rate. The reason it is the rents are very, very low for public housing, because the government has already subsidized it. They pay for it. It's government property, so they pay for whatever else needs to be paid. The property are set lower than the rate of renting is set lower than the market rate, and that's the value of public support, public service within the welfare system, and it is a very, very big part of support, and with the cost of living, if you actually happen to visit a website, you will see so many little pieces of help. Sometimes some help actually £150 is a one-off payment, maybe to support you with energy. There are help to do with from the council to do with if you're struggling to pay your rent and council tax. Council tax is a form of taxing the property you live in, and you have to pay it because it's a mandatory taxation. And if you're struggling because of any problem, you're in debt, the government can help. But what I'm trying to also say is that we need to be aware of the situation involving these benefits, this welfare support, because there are a lot of issues involving it, and the reason I bring it, part of the reason I'm talking, I bringing the topic here, is so that people know the help is available. Because even if it's only £100, £200, £300, if they pay it per week, or even monthly, every little bits and pieces, if you can look at where benefits are, you can end up with 2,000, 3,000. Some people get up to £4,000 per month if you're eligible, because the way it is structured, it is tailor-made. If you're a single person, if you have children, if your children are disabled, if you have sickness or disability, the more you can, qualify for different benefits, the more money you get. So it's a very complex system. I've never seen anything so complex within the public sector management and delivery. I've never seen anything more, because it involves a lot of money, and the government is bringing a lot of changes. These changes, in my personal opinion, is consistent with the politics of the public sector, public policy, welfare policy, social welfare policy. The changing meaning that the government want to reduce the size of the government. That is the political argument. They want to reduce the size of the government. And I'm going to stop this video here. And if you watch this video, please like it, subscribe, and leave a comment below if you like the video. If you don't like it very much, also give me feedback. Whatever you're going to do, please let's do it respectfully, and we're going to be here for a long time. We have no rush. We are going nowhere. My responsibility to make sure I produce these videos, because either I produce it or not. And let me know. I'm getting a lot of feedback. That's why I'm probably still, happy doing it. But even if I was getting, if 80% or 90% were giving me a negative feedback, I will still be recording the video and posting it. If only one person is looking at it, we are 1 week old in the project of recording. We are 1 week, and I've been so lucky that I have now 120 subscribers. Normally it's so difficult to get subscribers, because that is how to support the channel. The more the channel grow, the more prosperous it becomes. The more resources it attracts to support the channel even more. So participation, because this is a media. It's a social media, it's a media, don't forget. The more you actually view the videos, the more you subscribe, the more you participate, the more you support the video, the more the industry also recognize the channel, and the more support the channel gets. Your participation is really important in this sense, and hopefully in the future I will do a video about the behavior of the media, social media, including YouTube, Facebook, and things like that. Especially if you're doing it at an industrial scale, which is if you think how many people are actually doing channeling, it's a big industry, and I'm so excited that I'm part of the process. I've had this channel since 2012. It has been literally dead for 10 years. It's only last week I decided to record videos to post it, and people have really responded well. People from around the world have saw the analytics on the system, but we are very few. I have very few subscribers. But sometimes I am told you start a channel because there are 8 billion people. Only about maybe 3/4 of that maybe engage with the social media and this. So potentially, everybody should be watching my video. But everybody should be subscribing, but that doesn't happen. The people who have experience of doing it say to me, you can actually record. I mean, I know it because for actually, let me tell you this. I had this channel for 10 years, and not a single person subscribed for 10 years. But for 1 week, because I've been active, and subscription is very important to grow the channel. For 1 week, I have over 100 subscribers. And I'm being told that most people who are active sometimes are active for maybe a year or 2 years without even getting a single subscriber. But most people get maybe 10, 20, 30. But that is okay. Even if it was zero, 6 months later, because my purpose is actually to if I put videos here and people don't watch it, that is bad enough. Because I want people to be involved. I want them to I got really fantastic feedback so far, and a lot of people are really encouraging me. I mean, if somebody come up to me, what you're saying makes a lot of sense. That for me, that is enough. If somebody say the things you've been saying makes a lot of sense, it's valuable, they value it. That's what I want for now and for the future. Anything is a bonus. If people subscribe, if people actually whatever they do on the channel is important, because I want activity. It helps to attract attention. I want more people to come into the channel and be active. And actually, because if I want visibility, I want to be seen as a channel. Because if I'm not seen, people will not know we even exist. It's like, there are so many people in the world, and I'm just one channel, and there could potentially be, so I don't know how many channels are there, but every single channel is want to be seen. So I'm really grateful. I'm so thankful for everything you have done, and I'm so happy that I am actually participating. It's a very challenging exercise, but every day I do videoing, I get the hang of it. I get to get used to it, and my belief is that within the next 3, 4, or even 5 months, so to speak, the quality of videoing and the quality of presentation, doing research and organizing presentation is going to improve. For now, you work with what we have, and that's what I'm trying to do, because having actually waited for 10 years, you kind of could have waited. I could have waited for another 10 years, but last week I decided I am going to do a video. It doesn't matter how it looks like, I'll be posting videos. That's my policy now. Support me. If you need correcting, just leave a comment. Leave a comment below. It doesn't matter how the comment look like. Just do a comment. Say something nice. If you're trying to say something nasty, you can say something nasty if you want, but be nice about it. Because I saw the guidelines, the rules governing me, governing you, governing all of us is far well. I think respect is really important to the YouTube authorities. That's what they talk about that a lot. To me, in the first place, the content creator like me, I have to be respectful in the first place. So if not, then I'm going to get into all sorts of trouble. It doesn't matter what you try to say. I mean, try to be nice, and you try to be nice. When I say nice, what I mean to say, respect yourself, uh, respect me, respect everybody else, and respect what you have. If you have anything of value, knowledge, information, if you have a family, if you have money, if you are wealthy, respect it. Have respect for what you have. Then you don't abuse what you have, and you produce a quality of life which makes you happy, makes you peaceful, make you even prosper. So let us continue this conversation, and I've been persuading so many people to join us, and I want us to grow a big community. Have a good day today, and the new year is coming along. I think something interesting is going to happen in 2023. Let us carry on with what we have. Thank you. Bye bye. See you in the next video.